Alright guys, on the bench we have a Cobra 150 GTL DX, and this is my personal radio. I purchased this on eBay about a year ago, and in the hopes that I would replace my 148 that's in my daily driver, because that needed some work. So I figured I'd recap that radio, align it, give it a little bit of love. In the meantime, this would be kind of like its substitute. And I have nothing against export radios. I think that they're good for what they are. They're I wouldn't say that they're good quality radios. Compared to some of the radios of the early '80s and the '70s. But nonetheless, they're still. I think that the people that hate on them are kind of, I don't know, a little bit biased. Because when these radios are working good, they're really working good. But I understand that they can be problematic, especially the 200s. But I actually like these. I had one back in the day, and I ended up selling it, but it didn't give me any issues. However, this one is giving me issues, and so I've had this in my truck for about I don't know, maybe like 2 months now, something like that. Really haven't used it much. Just it's in my daily driver truck, and brought my truck in for repair into the truck shop that I work at, and had I was doing another radio on one of the tractors, one of the Peterbilts, and I had noticed, when I went to go test that radio, that the audio was just, it sounded like crap on air. This thing on my bench was great, had great power, great receive, but on air, I didn't realize it until, I tried to do a radio check with the other radio, and I'm like, this thing sounds like crap. So I had another guy go into the Peterbilt and try to send me a message, and with that radio check, and the audio just sounded horrible, completely trash. And I was like, what the hell? What's the radio's actually it was a well taken care of radio, and I didn't go through the alignment, but it didn't seem like it needed one at the time. But I'm like, what the hell is up with the audio? So, after going on Google, like most of us do, and try to research, if anybody else has had this issue, I came across a technical service bulletin from Cobra back in 2005. So these, along with the 200s, were having modulation issues, and that was due to the front end bleeding. So the fix for it is to put a capacitor, let me see, between this ground plane here and this trace right here, and that's going to solve the issues. So obviously this radio doesn't have it done yet, so that's something that I'm going to be doing to it, and then hopefully it'll fix that issue. But I also noticed that some of the front controls are, for some of the front switches are just, I don't know if the contacts are loose or dirty or whatever, but I definitely gotta try to get in there and clean up some of these switches, and hopefully get that fixed. Because sometimes it'll, if you just touch the band here, it'll flicker on and off, and I think it just needs a little bit of love. Caps are relatively good caps. I don't think it needs to be recapped at this point. The radio's too new. But you can see here the 11 meter mod has already been done. So you take out that resistor right there, which somebody did a pretty horrible job at doing. But this has been converted already. And now I've also noticed, let me see if I can turn on my bench light here. If you look at the two crystals there, you can see that the corrosive glue is already corroding on the crystal. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me try to point it out. Between the crystals here, you can see it's already turning green. It's already turning one of the crystals green. So whatever components there, those surface mount components, you know, I'm hoping that they're okay. Hopefully they didn't corrode, because I hate working on surface mount components. I mean, if I have to do it, I'll do it, but you know, it's not something I prefer doing. But anyway, I'll try to get that out with some acetone, and as well as back here on this, in between those two components there, that diode. We'll try to get this radio up and running. But yeah, so basically, if you're getting this weird wobble or like a popping sound when you're transmitting, and on the other end, the receiving radio, it just sounds like crap. And if this fix hasn't been done back here, this is what you want to do to that radio. So hopefully this will fix that audio problem, because I thought that I had a bad audio IC and I was ready to order one. But fortunately I came across this service bulletin, and I'm going to be doing that. So I got the capacitor here, and I'm going to be putting that in there. So the thing is, you got to scrape off some of this coating. Scrape off the coating on the trace, and then put our capacitor, solder on our capacitor on that circuit there, and that should solve the issue. So, all right, let me get that done and get this glue out of this radio. All right, so I got that cap bodged in there. You can see it's right there. And I just put some hot glue underneath it, kind of stabilize it. You definitely want to put something, some sort of glue, preferably hot glue, to keep that from bouncing around. So I already did pretty much the whole the whole alignment on this. I just got to adjust the front meter here, and yeah, so that's basically what's left to do. So let's see what we're doing. We'll do low power. Let's see, it's reading just a little high. Should be 4 watts. So let's get that, we'll get that adjusted. Which one's the transmit? RV1, which is this one here. Let's get that down to 4 watts. It's right about there. Alright, high. Okay, that's good. Dead key just under, oh, so I'd say 18. Yeah. Alright, so now let's put a signal through this. We'll do a 100 millivolt signal. And we'll get the receive adjusted. Alright, we're on channel 19. Minus 67. Yeah. 100 millivolt signal. That should be an S9. We're nowhere near an S9. So let's get that to an S9, and should be this guy here. Alright, that's adjusted. Alright, that's about it. Let me get this set aside there. you see the meter? Yeah, you can. Hopefully you can. I know there's a little bit of glare there, but let's see how she's doing on frequency. We're on channel 19. 27.1851. Alright, let's adjust that just slightly. I mean, it's good where it is, but 27.1850. That's perfect. Alright, so on low, what do we got? Audio. Audio. Swinging just to under 10. We're actually hitting 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 PEP on low. Put this to high. I'll set this to, it's going to go over 30 watts. I'll set this to 300. So I'll be looking at the middle scale. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just shy of 50 PEP. Just shy of 50 PEP. That's a good rating. She's on frequency 27.1850. Perfect. So I guess the last thing I wanted to point out on these 150 GTL DXs is if your antenna light is coming on when it shouldn't, the thing to check would be this SWR board right here. These are known to crack right along the seam here where this thing is butt soldered together. Something to check out. Also, this is the RV17, which is the SWR calibration, so you can also mess around with that. Obviously making sure that your SWRs in your antenna is actually in good shape, so you don't want to mess around with that if your antenna isn't isn't installed correctly. Well, that's about it. I think the final thing to do now is I have to still put a replacement speaker in there because it didn't come with one. So I got one I got a good used one I can put in there, and I'll do a on-air test, make sure that audio distortion is gone, and yeah, that's about it, guys. Let me get the speaker in, and we'll do an on-air test.